In the never-open desert diner, Ben Jones is on the verge of losing his small trucking company. A single 38-year-old truck driver, Ben's route takes him back and forth across one of the most desolate and beautiful regions of the Utah desert. During his trips, Ben discovers the desert is relentless, and in its grip, what the desert wants, it takes. Joining us now to talk more about the book is James Anderson. James, thank you so much for coming in. This is an interesting story. Aside from the story in the book, you are an interesting story. Let's talk a little bit about this. You were a publisher and an editor. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
For 25 years.
For 25 years. So you found your way. This is your first novel. And how old are you now?
I just turned 63.
Wow, that's great. So talk about the journey of working as a publisher and an editor and now an author.
You know, I've always loved books. I've always written. I finished my first novel when I was 16, but when I was in publishing for so long, even though I continued to write, I never really tried to publish. There's something about being inside that business that jades you a little bit, and I had my hands full being a publisher and an editor.
So is this a story that you've kind of had sitting in your back pocket for a while that you've nurtured, or did it come to you later in life?
Actually, I was working on a novel that I'd been at work on for 4 or 5 years, and it was on my computer, and my computer got stolen. And I was traveling around the Southwest, and I just started writing what I wanted to read. And, you know, as a small departure here, you guys have the coolest green room I have ever been in. Because it's like,
I think it fits, yeah.
It's like a desert diner.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's so much fun to not be in the usual sort of,
Well, so now you know where to come when you want to start working on your follow-up to this.
Well, absolutely. This
Yeah.
is great. Just sitting back there was fun. So, but to get back to the point, yes, it really, it's a lot of things. It is a mystery, but it's also a love story, and it's also a meditation on place. At the center of it is my love for the desert.
So, where your love for the desert? Were you based here? Did you live elsewhere? I mean, I'd
You know,
imagine as a publisher and editor, you've probably been around.
Well, that's true. I lived for a number of years in Colorado. I'm originally from Oregon, but I lived a long time, and I still go back and forth into the Four Corners region. That's where I feel the most at home, and that's where my imagination really takes off.
Okay. So now I'm curious about how the character came about. You always hear about, you know, writers writing what they know and creating a truck driver. Is it because it's that nomadic sensibility? Why a truck driver?
You are absolutely right. I was moving around a lot, and I wanted a way to interweave somebody who is involved in the geography and the weather. Who is more involved than a truck driver moving around? Now, Ben just drives 100-mile stretch, and he's not an OTR guy. He's a local driver, but he's involved with all the desert rats, and boy, there are some eccentric, weird characters living out there.
Yeah, anyone that's done a road trip into Mexico, they can absolutely attest to that. All right, so this is the first novel. Do we have plans for a follow-up? Is there going to be a series of Ben Jones novels?
You know, there may be. The way it works is, if this one sells, I get a shot. Now, am I going to write it? Of course, because I love these characters and I love that region. So yes, I hope one will be published.
Yeah, absolutely. So this one already on book stands now. We can get this at local bookstores. Where can we get a copy of this?
Absolutely everywhere. You know, it's here locally at Bookworks and across the nation at independent booksellers and Barnes and Noble. I've just been thrilled at my age to get the reviews and the response to this book. It's been a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah. So last thing before we get out, James, if there's another writer out there, you know, maybe in a similar situation that, you know, they've had an idea brewing for a novel their whole life, what's one piece of advice that you could give a budding novelist out there?
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
There
You know,
go.
I mean, if you can be satisfied with not giving a voice to something that you care about, then fine, don't do it. But you know, everybody has something wonderful inside them, and only you can tell that story.
Yeah, fantastic, fantastic words. All right, guys. Again, the Never Open Desert Diner, rather, I should say. Pick it up at Bookworks, local booksellers. You can also head over to casa.com. We will have all the information there. Thank you so much for coming, and best of luck with the series.
Thank you so much, Chad.